Disappointing series and weekend for the Tampa Bay Rays as they lose 2 of 3 to the Baltimore Orioles, ending a tumultuous road trip.
Yes. So let's get our vent going on, and you can do so by commenting on our YouTube page. So let's go. Let's vent, people. We need to vent these frustrations.
Let's do it.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your very first listen every day. And remember, Locked On Rays is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. Today's episode is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Bet Online, it is where the game starts. Well, the Tampa Bay Rays dropped 2 of 3 to Baltimore over the weekend. That's the second time in a month that has happened, losing 2 of 3 to Baltimore. And the first time that the Rays have lost consecutive series to the Orioles since 2017, and that just ended a road trip where the Rays went, drum roll, 2-7. So not doing too hot, your Tampa Bay Rays.
No, not at all. And what's frustrating is that these are winnable games that they're losing. They're out hitting the opposition. I believe 6 out of these 7 losses, they out hit the other team, and yet they come up with the L's. That's actually a very difficult thing to do, Kevin. Mm-hmm. And for all of you listening, that usually shouldn't happen. In fact, that's something that has always kind of bothered me personally, is when the team loses and then you're like, man, but they out hit the other team. That's always bothered me as a personal level. And that kept happening. Like, that's a rare occurrence when you out hit the opposition and yet lose. That's a weird thing to see on the box score. And then it kept happening this whole road trip. Yeah. It's not like they're playing horrible baseball, but then again, like, what were we saying last year when we were making fun of the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Blue Jays? Mostly the Yankees, though. We were like, they won 11-8 against the Orioles. Man, you can't even beat the Orioles. The Rays are 5-4 against the Orioles, people. They're 5-4. Yeah. That they've lost 6 consecutive series, like you said. That's no bueno, man. You gotta fix this right now.
Yes, and I will say the Orioles, before you know it, I think they're going to be a team that is at least somewhat competitive. 2023, 2024, I imagine there's going to be a time within the next couple of years where you look up and see what the Orioles won 80-plus games, like it's 2014, 2015 all over again. They're already, I mean, again, they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not really going anywhere this year, but they are progressively getting better, and they do have a good core that they can build off of. And I know we don't like to hug prospects, but a lot of outlets rate them as having the deepest and the most top-heavy farm system in all of baseball. Grayson Rodriguez, DL Hall, Colton Cowser, Adley Rutschman. I mean, the list goes on with those types of guys. So the days of the Rays going 18-1 against the Orioles, they're over. They're done. That's not happening again.
I'm not asking for 18-1, which is amazing. No, nobody's asking for 18-1, right. But 5-4, losing 1-run games against the Orioles. And one more thing, I was listening to the game, and Neil Solondz kept saying this, which is, he's not wrong, but he said, and the Rays don't like to chase leads, and so that's why they have Bard on the bullpen. He's right. The Rays don't like to chase leads. But you know when you should probably chase leads? When you're about to go 2-7 in a bleeping road trip, and you're losing consecutive series to the Orioles. Maybe you should chase that lead. Maybe you should press a little bit of buttons here. And it's not like the bullpen let them down at all. On the contrary, the pitching has been fantastic. There is nothing wrong about the pitching. And if any Rays fan says, well, the pitching hasn't done their job, you are ludicrous and you should not be watching baseball because you do not understand it. It's the hitting.
Yeah.
The hitting, it's the offense, the base running. That's what's killing this team right now. The runners in scoring position, they went 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. They left 10 men on base. You can't be given, or on the contrary, you can't be working walks with 2 outs, with loading the bases, and then having a poor at bat like Randy did. That was a poor at bat that he did and left the bases loaded. That can't happen.
Oh, Randy had a terrible series. He went 1 for 12 in this series. This is normally the Oriole killer. Randy. Last year he hit like 450 against the Orioles. Went 1 for 12 with 7 strikeouts. And again, you mentioned not making the most of an opportunity there. And yeah, the pitching, it's been there. I mean, it's really unfortunate that if I had a nickel for every start that the Rays have wasted, I mean, I might be a rich man at this point. And it already happened twice over the course of this weekend. I'm not even going to what happened last week or over the course of the road trip, but Shane Baz, nothing to show for his outstanding performance. Corey Kluber, nothing to show for his outstanding performance. Moreover, on Sunday's game with Corey Kluber going 6 strong and putting up terrific numbers, what did the Orioles roll out? Jordan Lyles was out with a stomach bug, and they pieced together Austin Voth and 6 other guys.
A bullpen day. Are you telling? I mean, it's what I know. It's in the heat of the moment. The loss just happened, so everything's a little bit fresh, and it's a scab that we're kind of scratching at. But I just this something needs to happen with this offense, man. Like, I know Taylor Walls had a good day. That was a sweet swing. Brett Phillips, I'm not going to harp on Brett for trying to score there. I honestly thought that was a really good relay by Odor. Got to give credit where it's due, but the point is 1-run losses against the Orioles, that you have to give it. I mean, they're pressing so much. It's so obvious that they're pressing, but you got to do something, man. You got to, because this offense is not working. So you got to, you're Kevin Cash. This is all you have for ingredients. Keep trying to make something happen. And I know devil's advocate, somebody saying, well, he is trying to make something happen. He's putting Vidal Brujan leading off, and that's kind of something different. Well, that ain't it. That ain't it. Scratch that off the system. Do something else. Do something else. Something needs to happen. And I know that we're all looking at Wander Franco, licking our chops like, oh man, Wander's going to come back against the Pirates in the weekend series. Wouldn't that be fun? So, okay. So we're just going to give the whole pressure of this anemic offense to the 21-year-old. That's the plan. That's the big solution, is to give this whole offense to save by a 21-year-old who hasn't played in a month.
Yeah, I think that, I don't really know. That's a lot of pressure, of course, to put on Wander Franco, and he's a guy that I do think can handle it, but it's not necessarily fair. I don't know if there's really anything Kevin Cash can do, or really at this point, I think it's a front office problem. You have to go out and find an acquisition or two. And it's not like the news got great over the last couple of days either, learning that Drew Rasmussen has been sidelined with a hamstring strain. And then Mike Zunino may have thoracic outlet syndrome, which, again, we can harp on Zunino and how porous his offense has been this year. Well, maybe his ongoing arm issue is a part of that. And, again, the Rays are going to take a hit defensively with Francisco Mejia and Rene Pinto getting a bulk of the reps. I mean, it's just going to happen. So, it's a problem as of right now. Maybe what the Rays need to get off the schneid is athletic greens. Maybe that'll help them. That might be that might be something that the Rays have to do. Just put some athletic greens in everybody's cubby there before the game.
I would love it if they did that because it is the single best thing that you can do for your body in under 60 seconds, Kevin. What is this stuff? Well, with one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens in a cup of water, you are absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your offensive anemic problems. If you're the Rays, that's it. Okay. No need to do a million different pills or maybe call Jonathan Aranda from AAA. I don't know. Send Vidal Brujan down. No, Athletic Greens is just your one stop shop for everything that you need in your body. In fact, to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So today, go to athleticgreens.com/MLB network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/MLB network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. I'm not kidding, man. You got to do something. And
Yeah.
I know you're right. Cash might not be able to do much because he's trying to do the crazy things like putting Vidal Brujan leading off. But then you're right. It's the front office. And I just said it, kind of tongue in cheek, but send Vidal Brujan down and put Jonathan Aranda up. You got to do something. You can't just keep losing games. You're closer to the Orioles in the basement than the Yankees, man.
That's an interesting point because that's an interesting point because that MLB rule goes into effect today, Monday, where teams are limited to 13 pitchers on the 26-man roster. So the Rays are going to have to drop a reliever and add a position player. So is it going to be Josh Lowe, or is it going to be Jonathan Aranda, or is it going to be someone we don't know?
I'm sorry. There's not enough room for Taylor Walls, Vidal Brujan, and Jonathan Aranda. There isn't. And enough with the outfielders. Enough. You have too many. What are we doing? Randy Rosarena, Manuel Margot, Kevin Kiermaier, Brett Phillips, Harold Ramirez plays the corner sometimes. That's too many, man. That's too many. So I would. That's my opinion. If I were front office GM for a day, I'd say, you know what? We've seen enough for now. I'm not sentencing the guy, but we've seen enough for now of Vidal Brujan. He doesn't have it yet, or at least for now. Get him some at-bats at AAA. Let him get comfortable again. Let's see the guy who's hitting almost 400 from AAA pitching. Let's see what he can do. Let's see. I mean, give him a shot. He's next in line. He can give you that middle infield versatility that you want. I don't know. You have to shake something up, man. You can't just keep losing games in this division, within the division, in winnable games, one-run games. Can't do it.
So you would go with Jonathan Aranda over Josh Lowe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because of the versatility with the glove, and also Josh had his moment. I know he's killing it in AAA.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like when you are in the cafeteria, and you just because you finish your food first doesn't mean you go get seconds. You gotta wait for everybody to get their turn. Josh Lowe had his turn. I know he ate fast, but you know what? People are still in the line, and Jonathan Aranda needs to get his.
There's nothing else for Jonathan Aranda to prove. I feel like this is a Jake Cronenworth situation. Yes. I mean, at some point, just give him a shot. And I know it might not be totally fair to Josh Lowe, but I'm totally cool with, hey, give Aranda an opportunity, see what he can do with it. And if he struggles, then make the next move. And if anything, maybe that makes Josh Lowe, his pants light up a little bit more of, okay, maybe I do need a hammer it in gear. Yeah, I'm doing well in AAA, but maybe I do a little bit better. Maybe I don't strike out as much as I am in AAA. So, I mean, every level the last couple of years that Aranda has been thrown into, he's giving you 320, 340, 350 batting average. Something different. Let's try it and see what happens. Although, again, I mean, I would like to see Aranda get an opportunity, but it seems like what Topkin's reporting is that it would be Josh Lowe. Topkin's been wrong before, but who knows what their line of thinking is. I guess they would give more DH at bats to Randy. But again, then I feel like you're taking away DH opportunities from Harold Ramirez if that's the case too. So I don't really.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I mean, I'm saying you have a guy who, as a lefty, is hitting 150 and has a 246 OPS. Either not play him as a lefty from now, or switch him with Aranda. That's it. Like
Yeah.
that's the move. That's the move. I don't understand why the hesitancy here.
Now, we've been talking a lot about the offense and the lack of capitalizing on opportunities. Friday, the Rays left 6 on base. Saturday, they left 9 on base, although they did win that game by the skin of their chinny chin chin. Sunday, they left 10 on base. Going back to Friday. I'm sorry?
Good point, Kevin. They almost got swept by the Orioles, by the way. Good point.
Yep. On Friday, they went 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. On Sunday, 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. And that got me thinking, this team isn't very good with runners in scoring position. And my hypothesis was correct, as they have the 5th worst OPS with runners in scoring position this year. They're also bottom 10 in batting average in baseball with runners in scoring position. Also, they rank 6th most with runners left in scoring position per game at 3.09. The only ones worst or who have more, this isn't a good thing, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Cincinnati, Oakland, and Houston. Now, I will note the Rays actually had a higher runners left in scoring position per game average in 2021, but the difference, 2021, you had some boppers, and there aren't boppers on this team currently.
And you were scoring 5.4 runs a game or 5.2, whatever it was. I mean, it was a whole different dynamic here. Dude, This is anemic. Like, they need, you're right, athletic greens. You need something to get you started right. This offense needs something. Last year, when you look at one of the biggest downturns of a 100-win club, by the way, so take that into consideration, people. It was that Seattle trip, man. That Seattle trip. I mean, you lose Glass now in Chicago. You go to Seattle. They basically, they have your number. 3 walk-off wins. I mean, just talk about demoralizing. And what does the front office do? They do something really smart. Call up the number 1 prospect in all of baseball in back-to-back years and Wander Franco. And what does he do? He doesn't win them the game, but he almost damn sure was close to it with a 3-run shot there. So that gets the team started. You gotta do something.
Well,
I don't think Josh Lowe is that, Kevin. Look, I want Josh Lowe to succeed. I think one of our prop bets is that I feel like, or that I said that he would have a higher OPS in 770 or 771 or 750 or something like that. Bro, even I am saying he's not the move.
Right.
He's not the move you gotta do. Not at all.
I feel like a broken record here, but maybe the Rays shouldn't have opted the guy that drove in 106 RBIs last season and led the team in go-ahead RBIs and sacrifice flies. And
Oh, Kevin, don't mention RBIs now. People that don't like RBIs are going to be saying that's situational. That doesn't matter. That those are things those are not the analytics that we're looking for. So be careful with that talk, Kevin.
All right, fine. I'll change it to a different stat. Home runs. The Rays hit a grand total of 1 home run over the weekend series against the Orioles. Now, in their defense, Camden Yards is a little bit different than it's been in past years with them moving the left field fence back and jutting out the corner. I mean, it's now basically one of the toughest ballparks to hit a home run, whereas before it was basically Great American Ballpark. Like, this is a ballpark where you're getting 390-foot doubles. And I know that the Yankees have come out and complained about it being a creative park. I mean, that's pot calling kettle black. Look at Yankee Stadium with the left field or the short porch and right field. But I'm totally fine with the Orioles. Hey, whatever they have to do, it's their ballpark. They can make the
ballpark,
dimensions
man.
however they want to, just like the Trop has the catwalk and the lights and so forth. But that certainly didn't make things easier for the Rays to exhibit power. But again, we sit here on a Monday and the team leader in home runs has a grand total of 7. I haven't looked this up, but I would venture to guess that the Tigers may be the only team who their team leader in homers has fewer than the Rays team leader, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I think Jeimer Candelario has 5. They've got a couple guys with 5.
Yeah,
I would
5.
imagine just about every other team has at least one guy with 8, right?
And again, home runs are not everything, but it's definitely one piece of the puzzle, man. It's definitely one piece of the puzzle. And it's I don't look, I think a lot of it is injuries, and the front office is kind of like, look, we didn't expect Taylor Walls to have this many at bats. We didn't expect Vidal Brujan to have this many at bats, or Isaac Paredes, or Hale Ramirez for that factor, Josh Lowe. But well, no, I'll take Josh Lowe out of that because they literally traded Austin Meadows and then propped Josh Lowe like, hey, we gotta give him some at bats. And then a month went after, and then he didn't work out. I think their plan went awry, and it's June 19th as the recording of this episode, and I'm sure they're working on something, but churn the answer faster, front office. Do something quicker. Like, there's a timer here. There's a timer. And the timer says the Boston Red Sox are heating up. The timer says the Jays are beating the Yankees. One game. At least they didn't get swept by the Yankees. So you got to do something. I know, expanded playoffs, it's a crapshoot. You just got to get in there. It doesn't really matter what your team win record means. Well, don't blink. Don't blink, Kevin. I mean,
don't blink. This team could finish 4th in the division, legitimately.
If you keep trotting out what you're doing and not actually trying to change, if you tell me right now, what is the front office trying to do right now to make this team better? Does anybody have an answer, or is the answer waiting for Brandon Lau and Wander Franco?
I think it's waiting for Brandon Lau and Wander Franco.
That's not it, man. That's not it. Do something. You got to do something.
One thing you could do is go to betonline.net, because it is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NHL playoffs and Major League Baseball. BetOnline, it is your continued source for all your sport wagering info, including live betting, esports, and scores. And BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, like I said, podcast and news this season. So head over to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. Ulises, as if things couldn't get any worse, the Rays welcome the New York Yankees, the team that is on pace for 120 wins, and they're basically halfway to 100 already in this season. The Rays welcomed them to the Trop for a 3-game series. And if I had to guess, considering how well the Yankees are doing this year, there's going to be a lot of Yankees fans at the Trop over the course of this 3-game series.
Oh, yeah, and it's going to be really annoying. And I just quick aside before we get into the Yankee preview, are the Rays now on pace for 89 wins?
I haven't done the math, but that sounds about right, considering how porous their road trip went. Like, they can't still be on pace to win 90 plus or 92 or whatever it is.
I think that the last time I checked, which was around the Minnesota Twin series, they were still at 94. So maybe they're still at 91 or 90. But
okay.
Yeah, the Yankees are coming, and they just swept this team in the Bronx. What were they, close games? Yes, they were close games. Could the Rays have beaten them in a couple of those? Yeah, they could have. They didn't, though. They didn't. So that's my issue with looking at the expected batting average and the xWOBA and the expected home run rate and Okay, those are all good and fun for projecting things. The reality is they didn't beat them. They got swept. And I have to stress this. I mean, you really hit the nail on the head there. It's the front office, man. What can Kevin Cash? If you're a fan, what can Kevin
Yeah.
Cash do right now? What can
If
Kevin
you're given
Cash do? I
crappy
mean,
tools, you can't, build a great house out of it.
what can he do, man? He's got Vidal Brujan batting 150 with a 230 OPS as a lefty, and he's like, yeah, okay, I'll bat him, lead him off. Maybe honestly, Kevin Cash is kind of like us right now and saying, I got to show the front office, this is what you got me working with.
Where he's just mad scientist, like, hey, I'm going to put KK in the cleanup spot. Like, this is what you given me, guys. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Remember last year when you gave me Nelson Cruz and I had Austin Meadows and I had Jolly Wendell and I had Manuel Margot and Yandy Diaz? Well, I don't have a lot of those names this season. Yeah. So I am going to look, man, that bottom third of that lineup. I know Taylor Walls, he had a good solid hit today or yesterday. I mean, it's a Monday recording, Sunday's game. Taylor Walls, Vidal Brujan, and Brett Phillips might be the weakest third I have seen in this. I mean, that just, like I said on a tweet like a month ago, that just screams like Shopik, Britt Brignac, and Elliot Johnson. It reeks like that, man, of the unproductivity. I mean, I'm even making up words, Kevin, because I'm so frustrated, and I know it just happened, so I'm kind of being a sore loser here. But man, the front office, it's up to you, man. It's not up to the players. It's not up to Cash. It's not up to the coaches. And by the way, one last thing about this rant: if anybody says this is Chad Motola's fault, check yourself.
Oh my gosh,
check yourself. It's not the hitting coach's fault. Okay, it's not, because last year I never heard when this team was averaging 5.2 runs, man, that Chad Motola is a genius. Never heard that. Yeah. It's not the hitting coach's fault. It's the front office doing zero right now to change what's happening on the field. Do something, front office.
Yeah, it's so low-hanging fruit to go after the hitting coach. It's like you said, you're going to turn Kelly Shopik into Mike Piazza. You're going to turn Elliot Johnson into Roberto Alomar. Like, let's be real. Let's be honest, guys. Although I will say Taylor Walls, that Taylor Walls, Vidal Brujan, Brett Phillips bit, yes, that is true. But hey, without Taylor Walls playing some really good shortstop, I don't know where this team would be. I know that he's not really bringing the lumber, but we saw back in that Yankees series some very, very sloppy, uncharacteristic, or maybe it is characteristic now for this 2022 Rays team, where, Randy, his relay throw goes over the head of Francisco Mejia, and Corey Kluber's not backing up. Mejia allows a double steal, doesn't even throw the ball. Margot drops a can of corn in fair territory. Brett Phillips drops a ball in right center, although Margot was kind of in his purview there, so I guess I get that one to some extent. But there's been a lot of, that's not... I mean, let's be honest. The Orioles have a better defense than the Rays. Like, we can say that now.
Yeah, they do. That's not that. I mean, if you're a Rays fan and you're saying, no, they don't. Well, again, check yourself. What are you doing? Look at the numbers, man. Yeah. And again, it's not going to get any easier. I know that the Yankees lost on Sunday, so they didn't win their 10th in a row.
They're 15-2 in June.
This team is closer to 50 wins than they're to 20 losses. This is a crazy good team right now. Not right now. The whole season they've been a crazy good team. And guess what? It's going to be McClanahan Cole in the opening game. We don't know the matchup on the second game, but the third one will feature Shane Baz.
Yeah.
It's not going to, I mean, again, when we talked about Shane Baz, what are you expecting? What are the expectations for Shane Baz? You don't think that rowdy Yankee crowd at Tropicana Field, because unfortunately that's what we have to live as Rays fans, is most of the time this big New York Yankee fandom is going to come out in droves when they're playing good, because they're kind of cowardly and they don't want to show up when the Rays are going to beat them. But now they will. Now they're going to show up. It's going to be tough for Shane Boss to kind of keep his composure. Hopefully he does. Hopefully McClanahan does too. I know it's been a very sad and gloomy pod, but vent, please, on our YouTube page. Subscribe, write down your comments. We will read them. We will put them on the show, but just make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube.
Question. Do the Rays win this series, take a game, sweep, get swept? What are you looking at?
I'm looking at they have to win this series. They have to. You have to change the narrative here.
Yeah.
You have to change the mentality of this team in the clubhouse, because I bet that plane ride from Baltimore to Tampa was not a happy one. I don't think there was a lot of card playing there. And if everybody's like, oh, yeah, Kevin Cash and everybody, we always keep the even keelness. If there was even keelness on that airplane ride, woof. No. I don't think that was a happy airplane ride. I don't think there were a lot of jokes. I think a lot of guys were probably listening to their headphones, looking at iPad stuff, and maybe reading, like getting their head straight. But I don't think there was a lot of joking around. And
I think that's why you need to go out and get a Tommy Pham, a guy that'll, kick guys in the butt or slap them in the face. He's actually not doing, he's doing fine. He's doing about what you expected for Cincinnati.
That's why I like Corey Kluber in the pitching staff, but it's 2022. The pitching and position players do not mesh that well as they used to do, back in the day. There's a little bit more of segregation between those types of players, the positions and the pitchers. So I would love it if you get a guy like Tommy Pham with his attitude and saying, no, what? We're losing to the Orioles? To the Orioles? Yeah. Really? 1-run games? Out hitting them?
Mm-hmm. If you're losing to the Orioles, it doesn't look good facing a Yankees team that may finish with a better record than the 2001 Mariners, may finish with a better record than the 98 Yankees. They're on pace for that right now. Of course, a lot of season left to go, but I do have to mention that. Hey, if there's one bright spot over the course of this home set versus the Yankees, it is that there will be a pretty darn cool promotion. At least that's what people are saying. The Mike Zunino Florida Man bobblehead that will be released on Tuesday, where he's got the baseball jersey sleeve cut off. There's a baseball in the mouth of an alligator. He's wearing work boots and I believe cut off jean shorts. All he's missing is a firearm, a fishing rod, some chewing tobacco, Salt Life bumper sticker, prescription pain pills. If you really want to go full Florida Man, full Pasco County with it, you can. But that'll be I guess, hey, if the Rays get swept, at least people will go home with a pretty, memorable bobblehead, even though Mike Zunino's hurt and might miss the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that one. That'll be cool for a lot of Rays fans to have. And again, let out your frustrations. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, most definitely. You'll be on the show if you put your YouTube comments on there. And I want to see what people feel about this Yankee series. Are we right? Is it Kevin Cash's fault? Is it the front office fault? Is it the players' fault? I want to know what you guys think, because honestly, I'm with Kevin here. It's the front office's fault right now. By this time, it's the front office who needs to do something. Kevin Cash can't do it all, and these players are just human. The front office can they're the puppet masters. Shake it up.
That might be a really good poll question, actually. Where do you lay the blame on the struggles of this team? Oh, by the way, I did do a quick math here. The Rays are on pace for 88.36 wins.
If you don't do something, that number is going to keep on slipping down. We can't just expect a 21-year-old phenom, even as phenom as he can, to just turn it around. How do I know that? Well, ask the people in Anaheim if having the best player in a generation has helped them go to the playoffs.
The Rays season is looking like the stock market. It's looking like my 401k right now. And that's not a good thing. Not a good thing. All right. That'll do it for this episode. Thank you for making the Locked On Rays podcast your very first listen every day. Now make your second listen the Locked On MLB podcast. That is also free and available on all platforms. Oh, yeah. And if you want to advertise with the program, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Send us an email there for inquiries. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe. And we will talk to you tomorrow with a mailbag episode and Wednesday as well with another mailbag episode. So enjoy the fun.